recorded.
Okay, is that, okay, wonderful. And John, are we all set on your end, IT-wise? Okay. All right. With that, I will turn it over to the chair.
Ms. Coyle, Michael Marin, Vice Chair. So I'm not seeing Mr. Tatro present this evening. Can we just confirm that? And I'll go ahead and get us started.
Okay. Let me just go through one more time. Okay, I guess, no, I actually do not see Mr. Tatro joined on this call. Mr. Marin, as Vice Chair, you want to take over?
All right, fair enough. Yeah, no, fair enough. So without objection, I'll go ahead and get us started, and we can transition over to Bob if he does join.
Thank you.
So given that we're recording, I will go ahead and begin. It sounds like there's a great deal of chatter, and I don't know if that's on your end at the town hall or not, but it sounds like gentlemen that are working AV for us could perhaps quell that down so we can get started.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Well, good evening. Welcome to the Auburn Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Thursday, February 18th at 6 p.m. We have one hearing this evening, and so before we get started, as a matter of housekeeping and administration, I have a script that's been prepared, so bear with me. I will go ahead and read the script, and we'll take roll call for the members of the board, and we'll continue. Remote participation for the Zoning Board of Appeals. As a preliminary matter, this is Michael Marin, Vice Chair of the Auburn Zoning Board of Appeals. In an effort to reduce background noise, I'm going to ask that you all please mute your phones at this time, and only unmute if you're going to speak. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. And so I will go ahead and go around and ask the board members if they are present, if you could please confirm that you're here with the affirmative. Larry Ciccolo?
Here, Mr. Marin.
Richard Cussy? Mr. Cussy?
Affirmative.
Good evening, Mr. Cussy. Megan Roche?
I am here.
Good evening, Megan. Peter Jones? Doesn't appear that Mr. Jones is here this evening. And yes. Is Ms. Bush available?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. And so I'll take on, as a matter of housekeeping, bringing forward Ms. Bush as an alternate voting member this evening based on Mr. Jones and Mr. Cussy not being available this evening to vote. Town officials and employees participating. I believe that Caleb Moody is absent this evening. Is that correct, Ms. Coyle?
That's correct, Mr. Marin.
Very good. And land use clerk, Ginger Buteau? Ginger.
Ginger's present.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So this open meeting of the Town of Auburn Zoning Board of Appeals, again, Thursday, February 18th, 2021, now called to order a bit after 6 p.m. Meeting is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meeting in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted in the agenda materials for this meeting on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along and with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Zoning Board of Appeals is convening by remote participation for the public only. Although some staff may be physically located in the Selectmen's meeting room in Town Hall, those town employees are participating in practicing social distancing in accordance with the governor's orders. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, they can call 1-646-749-3112 and enter access code 944-571-349. Or the public can join via computer at gotomeeting.com/join/94457-1349. The remote access information has been posted on the town's website identifying how the public can join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Auburn Cable Television. Accordingly, those members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, employees, and members of the public who participate, please be aware other folks may be able to see you, and please take care not to share screen on your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided to the meeting of this body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct for our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair of the board of, obviously this is scripted for Mr. Tatro, I, the vice chair of the board, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude the remarks, the chair will go down to the line of the members, inviting each by name to provide comments, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. And please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please await the chair to yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in discussion with other members, please do so through the chair exclusively, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first ask for members of the public who wish to speak to identify their names and addresses only. And once the chair has a list of the public commentators, we'll call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comment. Finally, each vote will be taken in the meeting will be conducted specifically by a roll call vote. If technical difficulties arise, the chair will suspend the meeting while attempts to resolve are made. To keep accurate minutes, noting any disconnections and reconnections of the member. And thank you for allowing me to walk through that and those guidance pieces. So with that, I would like to take care of one piece of administrative business. So with the number of board members that we have this evening, I'd like to ask Ms. Caitlin Bush to step forward as a voting member this evening as one of our alternates without objection. And with that, I'll go ahead and open up and take a motion to open the public hearing. So our first hearing this evening is a 6 p.m. applicant, and forgive the pronunciation if I ruin it, Naola Marble, requesting a special permit under section 9.3.12 of the Auburn zoning bylaw to construct an accessory apartment on property located at 8 Stone Street, Auburn, Mass, map 57, parcel 162. Can I have a motion to open the hearing?
Motion to open the hearing.
Mr. Colo motions to open. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Cussy, second.
Yes.
Very good. Ms. Roche?
Yep, I approve to open.
And Ms. Bush?
Yep, approved.
Okay, very good. So is the applicant present?
I'm right here. Yep, present.
Okay, very good. So could we ask that you go ahead and describe your project and tell us what you'd like to accomplish, please?
Okay, my name is Paul Murphy. I've been living here on 8 Stone Street for about almost 4 years today, and I'm looking to add an addition to my home as an accessory apartment below, so that both my parents, one Sandy, and my mom, who watches my kids, can live down there and just kind of cohabitate with each other. So the property would just be within guidelines. It wouldn't be more than the 700 square feet that is allowed by the town. It doesn't increase more than 20% of the square footage or anything. It would just include kind of taking out part of the existing season room and then kind of taking that out and then putting an addition kind of towards the newer of the property that's built on the left side.
Excuse me, Mr. Marin?
Yes.
This is Darlene Coyle. I just wanted to notify you, Mr. Tatro has just joined the meeting.
Thank you very much, Ms. Coyle, for that. I did see an icon for Bob as he's joined the meeting, and so what I was going to do, give the applicant an opportunity to finish her comments, and then by all means, Mr. Tatro, I relinquish the control back to you.
I apologize. I was literally signing on as my Wi-Fi decided to take a big vacation. So I'm not going to interrupt the flow as it is right now. Please feel free to continue, and then we'll try to just do a smooth transition. I have heard everything. I just was not able to acknowledge being signed on and all that stuff. So far, so good. I apologize. Please proceed.
Welcome. Well, thank you very much, sir, and welcome. And so I'll just follow up, and then we can transition over to you guiding the meeting, but I'll just follow up. So to the applicant, with any additional comments in your brief that you'd like to add for your project?
Not too many. I mean, I'm running this with, my boyfriend here, which, I mean, I'm not too savvy with the whole terminology of the property or anything like that, so forgive me for that. But he's here too to ask any additional information when you guys have questions.
Okay.
Okay. If you don't mind,
No, by all means, Mr. Tatro, thank you.
So it appears as though that the brief has been properly presented as such far to the applicant. Do you want to yield the floor to somebody who might choose to add some things to the application?
Jeremy, did you want to add anything on or to the application? Did you hear? I think he said I described it okay.
I think you did as well, honestly. And I also want to say just briefly for a minute before I turn it over to members of the board that thank you for a very well done application. That is, I can tell you put your work into all of your comments. So thank you very much for that. But anyway, let's go around the horn as we usually do. Vice Chair Marin, do you have any questions or concerns of the applicant?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one quick follow-up. I did have an opportunity to take a look at the property earlier today, and so just an acknowledgement. And in looking at your diagram, it appears that you would have, once with the proposed construction, that it would in fact conform to our bylaw of a 700 square foot accessory apartment. Is that correct?
Yes, it would, because the other one would just be an additional basement area for us.
Okay. And what I also see from your application is that if I'm looking at it and I'm standing facing the property, standing on Stone Street, it appears on the left side that once constructed, it would also yields what looks to be a 14.9-foot setback from the property line. Is that correct?
Correct. And then there's a kind of a triangle area where we don't really know whose property that is.
I see that. The diagram is thoughtfully marked owner unknown.
Yes. So we're only going to the line that we know. And
So your intent is to go to that line of truth that you know is a true property line.
Correct.
Okay. And then just one quick follow-up. In viewing the property from the road, it appeared in the back of the lot there's an existing shed, but to the left of that shed, it appeared. Are you aware succinctly of any water in the back of that lot?
Any what?
Any water?
There is water.
There is water in the back of that lot.
Yeah. I don't know really where it comes from, but when digging down, there is water down there.
Okay, sounds like the water table's pretty high in the back there then.
Yeah, that's why it like kind of the property is kind of an angle downwards in some ways.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for answering my questions, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to reserve for any abutter comments, but I don't have anything additional at this time, sir.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate the smooth transition. Thank you. So we'll go around as we usually do. Mr. Cussy, do you have any questions, concerns, or comments, sir?
I have none right now. I just want to hear from the abutters.
Thank you. Mr. Chicolo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the petitioner, do you have any kind of a measurement of where the proposed addition, how close it will come to that water? Is it a stream that goes through there?
No, there's no stream, but it wouldn't go too far because where the water level is with where the shed is, and I don't really know how many feet that is. Do you know how many feet it is from the addition to the shed or the water area? It's like 100 feet, you would have to guess.
100 feet?
Yeah.
It didn't look like that to me. But
It's pretty far down. Well, you're really thinking it's 100 feet?
the other question I have, we can come back to that in case it needs to be addressed with another board, but we can come back to that. But the other question I have is just how you propose to have two methods of egress.
I'm sorry, two methods of what?
Egress.
Oh, okay. So you can he answer? You said that he was allowed to answer, correct?
Say that again, please.
Mr. Chair, so if there's somebody that's better prepared for you to do that, yes, that's fine.
Yes, his name is Jeremy Doyle, for the record.
Okay.
So can you explain to them?
Welcome, Mr. Doyle. If you could just add, Mr. Chicolo has a specific question in the layout. If you could just probably address that, please.
Okay, so if you're looking at the plan on the left side on the backyard, where the existing driveway is.
So I'm looking at it from the top view versus the street view when you say the left side?
Okay, so if you're on the street view, it's the right side of the house,
Okay.
where the driveway is.
Yes.
Is that you with the little arrow there? So no, on the other side of the house. Yep, there's the driveway. See where it says 8 feet right there? That's one door going in.
See where it says what? Would you repeat that, please?
Right where the arrow you have it on, it says 8 feet.
No, I don't have a visual. I don't have video.
Oh, you don't?
I can
So on
help interpret that.
the driveway side, there's a door going in right there.
Okay, hang on, Jeremy, give me 1 minute. Hang on. Mr. Chicolo, if you give me 1 minute. So we have somebody in the background that has a dog barking. I was kind of hoping if somebody could manage that possibly, please, for a minute. And if it'd just be helpful for clarification purposes here.
Yep.
Also, so Mr. Chicolo does not have video, so what he's asking really specifically is, do you have two appropriate means of egress? So in other words, if there was an emergency, do you have the appropriate means of evacuating and getting out safely.
Correct, yeah. So on that street side, there's a door, and then in the back, there's a slider coming out.
Right, okay.
Street side, you're saying there's a door. All right, I'm looking at the plan you provided. And there is an 8-foot section.
Right, so that would be a door, like a hallway going in.
Is that going to be part of the new addition, or is that present at this point?
That would be part of the new addition.
Now, if it was part of the new addition, how close are we to the 700 square feet?
Oh, no, that's going to be common area. So that would be a door to my access to my basement from the back, and also to their accessory apartment.
So you're using a common hall area as one means of egress?
Correct.
And then the other means of egress would be a slider door directly from the new addition?
Yeah, correct.
I wish Caleb were here. I'd like to have his input on that. Being that it's a common area. Is that currently used as a means of egress for the house, as a means of exit?
There's a door going out to the back of the house, which would go into that area.
Which you say that area exists right now or not?
So it doesn't exist. Well, the door on the house exists right now, but it's going to be enclosed within that new area.
The door to the house, so
when you exit the main house, you're exiting into that common area and out that side door right now.
So both the house and the new addition will be using that common area as a means of exit.
Correct. But the main house itself already has 2 other doors coming in.
I'm going to throw it out to anybody else on the board who happens to remember a treated exit through a common area even though it does not rely on precedent, each case stands on its own. I just want to put out to the board if anybody come up with how we treated it in the past. And with that, reserve, if I want to come back to the brook in the back, Mr. Mayor, Tatro.
So what we'll do then, let me go around to the other members of the board. We'll have them express any concerns or questions that they may have, and then we can circle back around to where you want to get a little bit more in depth in terms of the entryways. So what we'll do is the next, which will be, let me see, Ms. Roach, do you have any questions or concerns of the applicant?
I do, just a couple, and just briefly, I agree we should probably wait till open discussion with the board, but just as a one note on this, I think that the proper methods of egress, I believe, would be addressed by Caleb during the permitting process, so I'm not sure that that's something that we have to focus on unless it affects the overall square footage. I'll leave it at that for now. But for the applicant, I do have a question, and I apologize if there is a drawing that I do not have. I also am only on audio, so I cannot see anything on the screen. But I don't have a drawing of inside of the addition, any floor plans. If someone else does, then I apologize. But I'm just wondering, what exactly does the addition contain? I understand it's only 700 square feet, or that it's under the 700, but is it one bedroom? Does it have a kitchen? Does it have a living room? Does it have a bathroom? Just, I'm looking for a little bit of description.
It'll have one bedroom, one bathroom, a kitchen, a living room. That's basically.
Okay, but only one bedroom was really my most concern. And then last question, I did not have a chance to drive by the property, so I just want to verify that whoever would be living in the property, is there enough room for whatever vehicles they have to park in your actual driveway and not be parking?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm good, and I'll reserve any further questions to board discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. Hold on one second, please, just as a matter of clarification again. So at least as far as my computer is concerned, I'm getting some type of background noise. It sounds like a dog barking. I could be wrong. At least, at the very least, it's some kind of erratic background noise, just for the record. So if somebody could just check what they have happening behind them at home, that would be helpful. Okay, so it sounds to me, for the time being at least, that's been quieted. So I will go on to Mr. Jones. Do you have any questions or concerns of the applicant?
Mr. Tatro?
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe it.
Okay.
Mr. Jones is not here to speak.
Yes, correct. I recognize that, sir. Thank you.
No worries. I think with Mr.
Ms. Bush, are you present?
I'm here, yes.
Hi, ma'am. Do you have any questions or concerns of the applicant?
I think all my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, that was a very good question. So I do have a couple of questions of the applicant. One of them being is, the reason we do normally see plans with an apartment or an addition of this sort. Is there a reason why you have not submitted any with the application?
Well, because we don't have any. We thought this application was, you guys say that you can do it, and then we submit you with plans.
Sure, and I understand I get the idea, especially in the current circumstances of, needing to save money and be cautious when it comes to things like that. I get it. So that's fine. I just wanted to have a clarification for the other members of the board. So let's circle back to Mr. Chicolo's concern here about the means of egress. So if I can help Mr. Chicolo and Ms. Roach by kind of describing what I see on the screen. If you go to your packet and you see where the zoning data page is, if that's helpful, and you look at the actual house layout, there is a point where it says 14.6, which is referring to 14 feet 6 inches, and then he has an 8.0 and an 18.2. So as it was described to me for the applicant, that would be the area that would be included in the new entryway that would be commonly used for the existing home and the proposed addition / accessory use apartment. So to the applicant, did I describe that properly in your satisfaction to the other members of the board?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, Mr. Chicolo, back to your original question, sir. Does that help you understand?
Yeah, it helps me somewhat, but I just want to expand on what you just said. From what we're looking at, and I am looking at a plan that is looking down on that area. The area that is 8 foot by 18.2, okay? Is that area closed off with a door, 36 by 24 area?
Yes. So that would be a wall that breaks off right where the old house is, the existing house.
In other words, how would somebody from downstairs access that 18.2 area?
So at the end of the arrow where the 36 is, there's a wall there with a door that would take you into that hall. And then
there would be that door, another door to the side before somebody would be outside.
yes,
In that, for instance, in that door, but there's also going to be a slider right on that other area.
Okay, but in let's use that as number one means of access and the slider number two. I don't have a problem with that. But to access the side, the 36, 24-foot area, you would have to go through two doors, correct?
correct.
All right, and that's where I want Caleb to weigh in on that.
So, again, with Caleb not being available, I believe that we can look at past circumstances. And honestly, so I want to kind of just clarify this. I think this is going to be helpful as well. So, to the applicant, the area that says 8.0 and 18.2, now just hang with me for a minute. We'll have a total of 3 doors. One will be an exterior door to the outside of the house. A second will be an interior door leading to the existing home, and then a third door would be into the proposed addition. Is that correct? Or proposed accessory apartment?
That is not the way I view it, Mr. Tatro. It is
If you didn't find out.
in that area.
I understand, and I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it so I understand it. So I apologize if I'm not necessarily proposing it the right way, but I'm trying to get to it so I understand. So to the applicant, as I proposed it, where it says 8.0, there is a door to the outside. Where it says 18.2, somewhere in that area, there is a door leading to the existing home. And then where it says 18.2, for the sake of argument, we're pointing to the right with the finger where it says 36. Is there another door that leads into that area where it says 36 by 24?
Yes, right where you had that arrow.
Correct. So what you're saying, what I'm going to do,
Slider where you have the arrow now, and there was a door where you just put the arrow.
okay, hold on one second. So the challenges we face in these meetings is that we have a lot of background noise. I'm still hearing a dog bark. Somebody's got to secure their dog. So we can't move any further until that takes place. And I apologize, it could be a child, I'm not really sure, because it's sporadic, but it's a lot of background noise. Let's take care of that first. So to the applicant, I have to specifically remind you that in order to maintain this meeting and the decorum of this meeting, you've got to kind of speak through me, then we got to take turns, and then I can relay back and forth, or I can yield the floor to Mr. Jacobo, and I will do that in a minute. But we can't talk over each other because they can't record it, they can't do it for the meeting, and it just becomes really difficult for people trying to follow.
Okay.
So anyway, so what we're saying is that that particular area where it says 18.2 a total of 3 doors, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I wanted to know as I was asking my questions. So that satisfied my question. Now, Mr. Jacobo, I'm going to yield the floor to you, sir, so we can go ahead and move forward. I feel like, at least with myself, I'm on the same page.
I am, sorry, I thought you wanted me to speak.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I'm just, for the sake of trying to have everybody on the same, the 36 by 4 area is the main accessory apartment. In order to exit that, you would go through, and not through the slider, okay? In order to exit that to the 18.2 area, you would have to go through one door. In order to exit the 18 area to the outside, you would have to go through another door.
Yes.
All right, that is where I would like Philip to weigh in on that.
Okay.
And for the sake of the meeting that we're in right now, I can say that I'm okay with everything else, contingent upon Caleb's okay.
So we can make that as a condition of the approval of the permit if that should take place and the board sees fit.
That is correct.
So we can certainly put as per review and up to code, it's usually from the conditions we add in circumstances like this anyway. When we say it makes all applicable zoning regulations as required.
And that is correct. The other thing that I would like to clarify is just how far we are from that brook in the back.
So I don't necessarily know that that fits under our concern, and the reason I say that is because it meets all of the required setbacks that we can govern in the zoning board regulations and requirements.
That's correct, but we can approve or deny the zoning. However, if we have questions as to whether they have to get an okay from another board, we can put that in, that conditional okay. And that's why I say we may want to find out just how far away it is. Caleb may know, he may be able to handle it. But we would not be able to say past this for it being zoned correctly if indeed, and this is hypothetical, if it was going to be 4 foot from that brook and we know it isn't, okay, then we could not approve it zoning.
I understand that, but if you look at the right side property line dimension, which is based on a survey, it says that entire property line is 329 feet, 329.49 feet. If you look at where the back of the addition is, 24 feet from the property, 15 feet from the property line, 1439, I mean, I think it's reasonable to conclude that they still have at least 250 feet of property from the back of the proposed addition to the back of where it's at 82.57 and the shed. So, I mean, I think they're 150.
You're figuring that the brook is at the end of their property?
Well, they said there was no brook. It was wetland, not a brook.
I thought the young lady said yes, it is a little bit of a brook.
I'm going to defer back to the applicant for clarification.
No, I don't believe there's like running water behind there. There's a fence that divides the property. There might be like a company behind it, and their parking lot's right there. So I've never seen like running water or puddles of water.
And just for the sake of clarity, Mr. Tatro, that I was referring to as a brook, it traverses their property. It's not at the end of their property line.
Okay.
So that I guess we've got further clarification that it is not a running water brook.
Correct.
All right. There was no way to get down there and view it with all the snow, that's for sure.
Okay. So,
Mr. Tatro?
yes, Ms. Coyle, it appears as though you might have something you want to add.
Yes, thank you very much. As part of the process, if the ZBA does make a decision on this accessory apartment, as part of the building permit process, Mr. Moody will review any of the building permit applications that come as part of the accessory apartment, and there's also a conservation requirement to make sure that if it does require conservation approval, he will make sure that that happens. I just wanted to offer that to
I appreciate
the board.
Thank you so much. So I do also, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that clarification. It's always helpful to get sort of a break in the action, if you will, to kind of put us all back down to zero. So with that being said, what I think I want to do is move away from this for 1 minute, because I feel as though I want to check to see if there's any abutters present that might have any concerns. So do we have any abutters present that might want to add to this meeting? If so, could you please identify yourself, your name and address, and what concerns you may have? Okay, I'm going to give a 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hearing none, seeing none. I'm going to go back around the horn one more time because I know Mr. Cussy was interested in hearing if there were any abutters present. So from the top of the order again, Mr. Marin, sir, do you have any other things to add now that you've gleaned this new information?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I would just show my cards in that I am confident that the permitting process would address. I fully appreciate where Mr. Chicolo is going, but I think the permitting process would address if in fact there is a wetland or water issue and proximity there to the construction. I think the permitting process would also address that means of egress that's been under discussion, specifically at the 8-foot opening where there's essentially 2 doors into the intended apartment, not just one door out to the outside. But I would leave it for the permitting process and inspectional services to make sure that those are appropriate or have them re-advise on construction. I, for one, I'll end on would like to see better plans. I'd like to see what it entails, how it's divided, what equipment's in the apartment, how it's set up, and a clear delineation of where the means of egress are intended to be. But with that, I think that could be a condition on approval if the board chose to move forward. And so I don't have any additional questions for the abutters. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Cussy.
Oh, I'm good, Bob. I think we're looking at a mudroom, this little room that both buildings are going to be able to go through. It's just a mudroom, so I'm okay with it.
Okay. Ms. Roach?
I would agree. I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Bush?
I agree. I'm okay with it too.
Okay. So one thing I'm going to add is I do share Mr. Chicolo's concerns, and I'll tell you why. Because we've all had, or at least seen a mudroom before, and in terms of emergency egress, I know we don't have control over this per se, but I share his concern saying they can get cluttered, they can be difficult to navigate, they can be challenging when you have 3 doors like that, then you have coats, boots, hats, all things piled up. So I kind of do recognize the concern Mr. Chicolo has. I also recognize the issue with the possibility of water on the property, that it could change at any time. I understand that as well. So again, I recognize that each member of the board shares the concerns, and that we can probably make these as conditions of the permit should we choose to move forward like that. We could also say that, we're giving them a contingent approval and we want to see plans and just at least know that the concerns that we had were addressed. So all these possibilities are on the table. So with that being said, is there anything else anyone would like to add to this particular hearing? So again, Mr. Chicolo, I'm going to yield the floor to you for 1 more minute, just to say that I want you to kind of illustrate what concerns you may have. So we include those in any conditions of the special permit, that we want to make sure that we're clear on them.
Excuse me, I'm fine with that. That if we have another look-see. It's too bad if Caleb were here this evening, I would be fine with hearing his answer this evening. But he's gonna have to look at it anyways. Just a second look. First, I don't know how long he's been on vacation, but a look and an A-OK by Caleb, fine with me, and then I'm fine.
Okay, I appreciate that, sir. So we can make that part of the conditions of requirement if that's so how the board chooses to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So one last opportunity to the applicant before I close the public hearing. And when I do close the public hearing and if we vote on it affirmatively, it means that the board will be able to speak, have some moment of clarification, if you will, and then you'll have to kind of be quiet after that. So to the applicant, anything else you'd like to add before we move forward?
I think we've said it all.
I think you have. I appreciate your time and patience. And believe me when I tell you, this is interesting and challenging for all of us to navigate these things and, with different noises and me being able to sign in late today. So we do appreciate your patience as well. So with that being said, do I have a motion to close the public portion of the hearing?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
You didn't hear me second?
Thank you, Mr. Chicolo, to a second. And I'll go around for an affirmative vote. Mr. Custin?
Yep, close the hearing.
Thank you. Ms. Roach?
Yep, close hearing.
Thank you, and I vote to close the hearing as well. So, do we have anything else we want to add to this? I think it's just conditions that we're mostly concerned with before we move forward. So, go ahead, Mr. Marin.
No, I would just, unless there's any additional discussion that the board would like to entertain, I would make a motion to approve with standard conditions, but I would add a specific condition that detailed plans be provided. Okay, I appreciate that. So do I have a second on Mr. Marin's motion?
What was the added information? I'm getting feedback here too. What was the added?
So, Mr. Marin, it's standard conditions with a submitted portion of plans. Submitted plans, excuse me.
Okay. I'll second.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cussy?
Yep, agree.
Thank you. Ms. Roach?
I'd also grant.
Thank you. And I, as the chair, grant. So good luck. You'll hear the conditions of employment again. Conditions of employment, excuse me. Conditions of the application. And the building inspector will be in contact with you and give you further instructions on how you can move forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a great night. Okay, so we're going to let this kind of settle down for a minute. Hopefully we'll get rid of this background noise, and then we can move on to other business. I have a motion to close the hearing for this evening, this particular hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Do I, Mr. Cuffey?
Yep, close.
Thank you. Ms. Roach?
Yep, I would agree to close.
Thank you. And we can close as well. So, it looks like we have a few people coming off of the meeting right now, so we'll give them about a 10-second count and we can move forward. Okay, so on to other business. The only thing we really have here is do we have a motion on the floor to accept the June 18th and the July 16th, 2020 minutes as submitted?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion as stated to accept the minutes as written.
Thank you. Do I have a second? That was a Mr. Cussy, second, I believe. Mr. Chicolo, how do you vote, sir?
Affirmative.
Thank you. Ms. Roach?
Yes, affirmative.
Thank you. And I as well accept the minutes as submitted. Thank you very much. I don't believe we have anything else right now. And again, I apologize for showing up late. My Wi-Fi just decided to go on vacation quickly before I got here. I had to do a reboot and get back on. We're all experiencing this. So, again, thank you so much for your patience. And Ms. Coyle, also thank you very much for setting in and stepping up and making those things good.
My
Do I have
pleasure.
a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second? Mr. Custer? Mr. Chicolo, thank you. Thank you. Ms. Roach?
Yep, adjourn.
Ms. Bush? And I make a motion to adjourn.
Yes, adjourn.
You all have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
You too, Bob.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.